Hey, Josh, this is Adam. I was actually in your Automate, Grow, Sell experience last year in October 2017. It was awesome. Made some big changes that came out of that whole experience. Huge help. Hope you do it again this year. One thing that I'm kind of running into right now, and I know I'm not alone, I have the full-time job. That's not my business. I'm spinning up runway in the business, momentum, getting it moving. And right now I'm looking to see if there's a way or how to go about getting either a virtual assistant or getting somebody to answer the phones while I'm doing my other thing. We just need a little bit more room, and then I can make the jump. But it's getting that space that I need help with. And it's that, how do I handle this answering the phone when I'm not able to answer the phone? All right. Well, hope to hear from you. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you so much for that call, Adam. That's awesome, man. I know a lot of the people that listen to this show have a full-time job. There's a lot of firefighters that have a side hustle going with a home service company, and they do very well. If you're in the position where you're looking to actually pivot and transition, then yeah, your mothership is really important. So the person that answers the phone is really important. I always joke and say, if you just answer your phone in the first place, you're automatically in the top 10% of other companies in your market, most likely, right? But a lot of people get hung up with perfectionism and never make the full transition to like a full-time office manager or using an answering service because it's not going to be as perfect as you doing it, which is true, it's valid, but you can't let that hold you back. You just can't let it hold you back. So my advice is to figure out, does making this decision move me closer or further away from my why? Right? I always talk about the mountaintop, the why. If your vision for your business is for you to be full-time and go in it, yes, you have to have certain things in place, and it won't be perfect. In fact, it'll oftentimes be very messy while you're putting these things in place, but that's okay. I always tell the people in my company, our goal is not perfection, it's to move from chaos towards less chaos, right? As long as you're improving, that's better. So here's what happens a lot of times. You start a side hustle or your business is small and you answer the phone yourself and you're excited and you're really good at it and you're enthusiastic and you take really good notes and you get back to the customer really quickly and you're doing everything awesome, right? Well, then you start getting a little bit busier and it's a little overwhelming for you to answer the phone because now you're in the field doing the work itself too, right? And you're doing bank deposits and you're trying to recruit someone and then your phone's still ringing. And what do? Well, you drop the ball a little bit. Sometimes it goes to voicemail. Maybe you get a little less sharp with how consistent you are in answering your phone, or you're too brief on the phone or whatever. You start to get overwhelmed. So then you look at your numbers, you look at how much money your business has, and you think, God, it'd be so awesome if I could have someone take some of this off my plate. But then you don't really do anything because you're like, I can't afford to pay someone $600 a week to answer the phone or whatever. Or maybe you could afford it technically, but you don't trust them and you have this perfectionism problem. Whatever the case is, my advice to people is always to move a little bit forward, then a little bit more forward, then a little bit more forward. For a lot of people, it's using an answering service. An answering service is not ideal, it's not perfect, but it's better than not answering the phone at all, and it's also better than you doing it yourself all the time. So that's one option. Hiring a virtual assistant is also another option. In fact, I have a friend named Jeff Hunter who I plan on having on the podcast sometime. He has a whole agency of VAs from the Philippines, a whole bunch of them. He's got a really successful business, and I wanted to ask him some questions because a VA can be really, really useful to you. So for those of you that aren't familiar, a VA is a virtual assistant. A lot of VAs come from the Philippines, although lots of different countries have them. And you can get them from the United States and Canada too. It's just more expensive, right? So like in the Philippines, they speak really, really, really good English, like really good. I have a VA named Shang. If you're out there listening, Shang, how are you? She's worked with us for over 2 years, I believe. And she's awesome. She's got more education than me. In fact, I think she has a master's degree, but the exchange rate and the way money works makes it really beneficial for us. I think I pay her $600 a month, and she's a full-time employee. Now, here's some quick tips for a VA if you are going to go that route. Number one, you absolutely have to clearly define exactly what they're going to do, or else they won't know what to do. They're not going to save the day. So if you are going to hire one, you have to give them very specific, structured things to do each day, and they will just diligently knock it out. So a VA maybe won't answer your phone, or maybe they will, but they can do other important things. Like they could update your employees' work logs. They could enter stuff into QuickBooks for you. They can, pull lists of people that haven't been serviced in a long time. There's like a whole bunch of stuff. They can data mine for you. We use Sheng to data mine a lot and just build lists of big commercial accounts that you want to go after, which is amazing. And they're very useful, and it's really, really... it's just a good investment. You get a good ROI on it if you work with them a lot in the beginning and really clearly communicate. So, I don't know. My encouragement to you, Adam, is to go for it and to try to get a VA or use an answering service for the phone piece and use a VA for some of the administrative stuff that you're doing. And here's the big piece that I wanted to get to. This is why we do this, is because we need to free up your time to drive more sales and momentum. You mentioned in your call that you are driving, so you're spinning up runway and momentum, which is awesome. How can we get you to do even more of that? And the answer is to take all that stage 2 stuff off your plate, right? Get some people in the field doing the stage 1 work, get a VA and an answering service to take some of the administrative stuff, the stage 2 things off your plate. Why do we do that? So that you can sell more, so that you can network and develop relationships and go after bigger fish and do all kinds of stuff. That is the path, everybody. That is the path. Hopefully that makes sense and encourages you. Don't be scared to hire an answering service. Work with them the best you can. Give them scripts. It's not going to be perfect. When I had an answering service before we could afford or had made the decision to hire a full-time office manager, it wasn't perfect, but at least a human answered the phone every time. And then what I did is I would call through to our own phone number constantly and just make sure they were following the scripts, and then in a friendly way coach the person answering the phone on how I wanted them to handle things and stuff like that. But the really, really big benefit of it was that while they were getting info from a client or writing down information to get an estimate, I was out selling and driving sales and creating even more momentum. So it's these little itty-bitty differences in the way that you look at your company that make all the difference in the world. So I hope that short little nugget was useful to you and helpful. Remember, progress, not perfection. Take massive imperfect action. Don't hesitate and strategize for 3 months when you can make a decision and move forward tomorrow. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I will be talking to you tomorrow. Take care, and God bless.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.